Hey everybody, look who I have here. This is my beautiful, lovely friend Yasmine. You might have seen her on my Instagram account, but Yasmine is a brilliant, brilliant florist. So thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I have to admit, I am one of those people where if someone asks me, if you weren't doing what you're doing, what job would you want? And I'm that like idiot who's like, oh, a florist. And not really realizing the amount of hard work it actually is.
There's so much work.
Yeah.
So much work that goes into floral design. But there are the perks of having the flowers around, so that's what keeps me in the business.
Most definitely. How would you describe what you do?
I would say that I arrange flowers for a living. Average workday starts really early.
How early?
Alarm sometimes goes off at 4:30. Sometimes honestly earlier.
That's like a baker.
Yes. The market actually opens at 2 a.m. So anyway, let's say my alarm goes off at 4:30. Make coffee, go to the flower market, get all the flowers. If I have a delivery at 8 a.m., then I need to get everything processed and arranged by 7 to make it to, let's say, the west side by 8. Where it does get stressful though, at the market, is availability, and that's part of the reason why I need to go really early.
So I'd imagine that there are some, like for instance, one of my friends owns a chocolate shop, and the month of December is like insane for him. For you, is it just kind of like always busy, or does it ever really ramp up? Does it ever really slow down?
Mother's Day and Valentine's Day are insane. Also the holidays, December. It's very, very busy. My birthday happens to be on Valentine's Day, so it's this year was the first time I took it off in 12 years.
What was that like?
It was great. It was really, really nice to not have to work. Those days are usually like 15-hour days.
Wow.
At minimum.
How far out can you buy the flowers?
Not too far.
Yeah, because I'd have to imagine that would be the most stressful thing about, or at least one of the most stressful things about being a florist is your product isn't shelf stable.
Flowers are delicate and they die and wilt sometimes, even when you do everything right.
What is the best thing about your job? What's the thing that just makes you the most inspired by it?
The flowers.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's been 12 years and I still love my job so much.
What's the worst thing about your job?
I'd say one, working with a perishable product is challenging, especially with weddings. Brides have such crazy expectations. Sorry to say crazy, but
no, it's true.
Kind of true.
It's like you want
sometimes.
Well, you want peonies for no money, out of season. Like, what do you expect? Yeah. We've chatted about this a little bit about how you find aesthetic and like inspiration for a medium like flowers, and how do you sort of shift the aesthetic?
Sometimes I consult books, and sometimes I just go out into nature. Honestly, like. I've always been drawn to mushrooms, and that's why I started using them in my arrangements. I think that's where I derive the most amount of inspiration.
What was your path?
I started working at a flower shop at 18, but before that I always wanted to work with flowers. From the time I was a child, I was making arrangements, and that sounds like it sounds fabricated, really, but it's not. And so at 18, I got a job at a bucket shop, which is like a casual flower stand. On PCH in Laguna Beach, and then worked. Thankfully, I had pretty flexible bosses who weren't present, and that gave me room to just make whatever I wanted. And then I moved up to Los Angeles and branched out on my own.
Wow.
After dropping out of college.
What was your major in college?
Art history.
Yeah. Do you think that heavily influenced your work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I initially started making arrangements that were Dutch and Flemish inspired. One of my favorite still life floral artists is Abraham de Lust. His work is really beautiful.
So if someone has not been turned off by the 4:30 a.m. wake up time in dealing with bridezillas, what advice would you give to someone who says, you know what, I feel really passionate about florals, how can I get into it?
It's a highly saturated market for something that nobody needs.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I know that sounds really negative, but nobody needs flowers.
No,
it's
exactly.
not a necessity, it's a luxury. I think that you should do it because it's something that you love doing, not because your goal is to make money.
Exactly. What's one unexpected truth about your job?
Something that I think people would be surprised by with my profession, particularly the products I work with, is that they are often heavily sprayed with pesticides. That is a dark reality of the industry that isn't really spoken about. There is a push toward a slow flower movement with organic flowers, but people have a hard time as it is spending the amount of money that they do on flowers, that they're less inclined. They think, I'm eating organic foods, I don't need to put organic flowers in my house, but what they don't realize is that everything that they put around them, they're ingesting. And you also have to think about the people who grow these. Most flowers are grown and cut and harvested in different countries that don't have strict environmental laws, where people in those countries who are farming all of these beautiful flowers are developing serious respiratory issues from all the pesticides used. So that's something I'd like to see changed.
I'm curious what your career goals are for the next year and for the next 5 years. Like, how would you like to see sort of your intersection with florals? Like, how do you see that kind of evolving?
I would really like to do more gallery work. So hopefully have some art shows with painters, photographers, where I make a floral rendition of their work. I will hopefully be releasing a book, and I'm also hoping to do some dried flower weddings.
I love that.
Yeah.
Her dried flower arrangements are absolutely stunning. They're really beautiful.
I love dried flowers. They're not depressing because they're dead. They're beautiful.
Yeah, well, there's like there's an eternity kind of quality to that.
Exactly, they're everlasting.
Exactly.
It's great.
Like love, like true love.
Frowned at that.
You're like,
or like, it was like,
you made like this like. You do a lot of work with artists. Like, one of my favorite things to come, other than that amazing portrait of you, is what's the name of your friend? I forget his name.
Michael Harnish.
Yeah.
Michael Harnish is a phenomenal painter.
Yes, and so if you go on his website and look at some of his pieces, he's actually painted some of her bouquets and some of her like floral installations, and they're absolutely stunning.
They are so beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm thrilled whenever he asks to paint something, and I'm always mesmerized by his process. He paints really quickly.
The painting's beautiful. I would never think that was a fast process.
I know.
Jeez, that's amazing. Yasmine, it to me is a true artist and what she does. And
thank you, Claire.
Truly, it's beautiful. And please make sure to follow her at Yasmine Mei below. And your website is Yasmine Floral Works, right?
Yasmine Floral Design.
Floral Design. Yasmine Floral Design below. So please show her some love. Make sure to check out all of her amazingly beautiful florals. And if you have any questions on, like, additional questions for Yasmine, please post those below, because I will text them to her, and basically, or I'll just make up answers. So
I hope you do the latter. Definitely don't email them to me, because I will not read them.
It's not her favorite is email,
No.
not her favorite, but I will pester her over like white wine or something,
Yes.
and then I'll get her.
They'll
to
get
respond.
answered.
They
For sure.
will eventually get answered.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.